Ready? Okay, welcome everyone. It's November 10th, 5 o'clock. We're at the Annex Building for PUB. This is our monthly board meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. If you could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. No workshops, any public comments?
No public comments.
No public comments? Okay, before we get to the consent agenda items, tomorrow is Veterans Day. Do we have any veterans in the, here in the building? If we do, could you please stand? Mark, I think we should give them a round of applause for serving our country. Thank you, Mark. Okay, we have consent agenda items. Give everybody a chance to review. If there's no questions, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
I'll move to approve the
There's a
consent
first.
agenda
Is there a
items.
second?
Second.
There's a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. General Manager's report.
Mr. Vice Chair and members of the board, we have the board calendar first on the agenda. We moved our SRWA board meeting to October 31st, which is noted on your monthly calendar. We also have the November 10th, which is today, the board meeting, followed by November 19th, the PubCap meeting. Our next SRWA board meeting is on December the 1st, followed by PUB's board meeting on December the 8th. And in December, we will not have a PubCap meeting. I'm not going to go to the rest of the other events and meetings, but they're noted on there. Some of the things that are not noted on your calendar, just for your awareness, we did have on December the 7th a Veterans Breakfast, and thank you, Dr. Zamora, for attending the Veterans Breakfast on there in honor of all of our veterans for the Public Utilities Board. Also not noted on there is that we will have on November the 13th a PUB leadership for the executives and directors, and on November the 19th, Dr. Zamora will be attending the Policymakers Council meeting for American Public Power Association. One of the other things that's not noted is that on November the 7th, I did have the Rio Grande, Rio Bravo Binational River Symposium that I was on a panel. And also, I will be having the North American Transmission Forum board meetings on December the 4th and December the 3rd. I was also asked to give a presentation on December the 5th for the Electric Club in Dallas. Following up with various industry updates, one of the things that I want to note on this is that the Brownsville Public Utilities Board has received an award of merit from APPA's Excellence in Public Power Communications Award for the Energy Conservation It Starts Here You video. Just to give you an idea, we had an in-house production. It received 157,000 views across YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram in the first month. And with that, our staff was awarded that leadership training, and congratulations to Miguel Collins and the Communications and PR Department for representing us in the community at the annual Customer Services American Public Power Association meeting. In addition, this year, PUB's annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ending in September 30th to 2024 has met its award for the GFOA Certificate of Achievement and Excellence in Financial Reporting. For those of you who are not aware, that this is a Governmental Financial Officers Association award, and this is the 19th consecutive year in award. And thank you, Mr. Perez, for your continued leadership in that area for the accounting and finance departments. So congratulations to those two staff for distinguishing awards in there. So with that, I am going to call a little bit for Mr. Eli Alvarez to come and present on activities over the weekend. We had a little bit of an outage, and he's just going to give a quick report on my behalf on what was have accomplished and what was done. Mr. Alvarez.
Wait, can you?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm the Director of Electric Operations for BPUB, and as Ms. Gilbert mentioned, I'm going to give you the the rundown of what happened this weekend involving a damaged transmission pole that caused an outage. What we wanted to do was highlight the response. It exemplifies the strong and timely actions we typically take when addressing significant electrical incidents. So at approximately 7 o'clock yesterday, November 9th, we had a 4,200 customer outage after a motorist struck a transmission pole near the corner of North Central Avenue and Mackenzie Road. So does everybody know where that is? Very close to a substation. By 7:20, just 26 minutes after the incident, BPUB personnel arrived on site to assess the damage and determine the necessary steps to restore electrical service to customers. So by 9, electric service was restored to nearly 3,000 customers through load transfers to adjacent substations. The crews continued to work to isolate the affected area, and by 10:30, all but 300 customers had their services restored. The remaining customers remained without power while BPUB crews installed a pole and removed the remnants of the transmission pole. Approximately 4.5 hours later, that's the typical time to replace a pole. After all the repairs were completed, electric service was fully restored to the remaining customers. So in total, the incident lasted 8 hours, 14 minutes, equating to nearly 120 BPUB man-hours. So BPUB would like to thank all the knowledgeable and dedicated BPUB employees who worked tirelessly and safely to restore service to those affected by this incident. Are there any questions about it? That's the end of the report.
Any questions?
Great job, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll pass it on.
For those of you who haven't seen, it was a transmission line that was cut into 2 different sections and a dangling pole that was there, and it was restored in a safely manner. There was no fatalities, fortunately, on that. Any questions on the calendar or industry updates at this time?
No questions? Okay, thank you, Marilyn. Item number 2, consideration and action on items pulled out of consent. There were none. Item number 3, staff reports and presentations to the board. A, Conservation Superheroes Drawing Contest winners.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Miguel Calles, Digital Information Platforms Manager with the Brownsville Public Utilities Board. And today I'm proud to announce the winners of the Conservation Superheroes Drawing Contest. This contest is an initiative that we launched last year aimed at promoting water and energy conservation throughout the youth in our community. And so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and go through the recipients. I do want to note we did receive about 90 submissions this year. And we put them up, we vetted them, our staff, and put them up for a community vote. We selected 25 of those submissions, so 5 for each grade, 1st through 5th. And so without further ado, I'm going to go through the presentation and show some of the artwork that these young talented individuals submitted. So first up we have for 1st grade, Maria from Episcopal Day School. 2nd grade, we have Emma from Episcopal Day School as well. 3rd grade, we have Jose from First Baptist School. 4th grade, we have Madalia from Canales Elementary. And for 5th grade, we have Caleb from Canales Elementary. So if you all join me in giving a round of applause for their work. And at this time, I'd like to invite them to come up and have you guys, if you want to take a picture with them, as well as our executive team. Before I conclude, is there any additional questions? Nope, okay, thank you.
Very good, thank you. Item B, presentation discussion of the Brownsville Public Utilities Board Financial Performance Report for the period ending September 30th, 2025.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and members of the board. My name is Mike Perez. I'm the Chief Financial Officer, and I'll be presenting the Financial Performance Report as of September 30, 2025. Here I've got the executive summary that focuses on 7 categories, and each category is own gauge meter, red representing poor, yellow average, and green good. So as far as the flow of funds, BPUB did generate $8,372,000 to replenish the improvement fund, and has a debt service coverage ratio at 2.52 times, well above the 1.25 times minimum requirement. The fuel purchase and energy charge has generated an over recovery of $23 million as of September 30th. This will be used to offset some future market uncertainty. The FPIC rate for September was set at 4.51 cents per kWh. In the month of October, the Risk Oversight Committee did drop it by 10%, and then an additional 5% for the month of November. So the current rate in November is at 3.862 cents per kWh. So this is, we're doing good here. On the COB cash transfer, it is higher than budgeted. It's primarily due to a lower FPIC rate. So we did see the city received an additional $1.17 million in cash transfer. And again, primarily due to the FPIC rate. And I'll cover this in a subsequent slide. The personnel and non-personnel expenses combined were $470,000 under budget. Doing good. BPUB's average bill is lower than the average MOU bill and the average IOU bill for the 1,000 kWh residential user. So for the month of September, that average bill was at about $106.24. The CIP, the PUB did spend $52.9 million, representing a 69.57 completion percentage. And the remaining, 100% of the remaining balance has already been committed. So we're doing average here. All key financial metrics are currently in compliance. Here we present a condensed statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. This report is in compliance with generally accepted accounting principles. Here we do compare the year-to-date activity for the current year as compared to the same period last year. Starting off, we got operating revenues of $238,224,000. This represents a $3.7 million increase from last year. So we did see an increase of $5.6 million in base revenue, a decrease of $10 million in the fuel revenues, a decrease of $2.6 million in the off-system sales, and the remaining item that makes up the change was the $9.5 million of rate stabilization funds that was used to pay down the customer's production costs for the month of November and December of this past year, as approved by the board. Our year-to-date expenses were $202,363,000. So we did see a decrease of $2.5 million. This represents a decrease in fuel of $10 million, an increase in personnel expenses of $5.5 million, an increase in contractual and other services of $2.7 million, and a decrease in repairs and maintenance of $500,000. So we arrive at line 3 operating income of $35,864,000. We then back out net non-operating expenses of $16,190,000 and arrive at income before capital contributions for $19,674,000. Adding in capital contributions of $19,352,000, we end up with an increase in net position for the fiscal year of $39,027,000. Adding this to the net position at the beginning of the fiscal year, we do end up with a net position at the end of the period of $514,163,000. Here we've got a condensed summary of our revenues and expenses based on the flow of funds, and this is in compliance and accordance with the bond ordinance. We compare year-to-date actuals with year-to-date budget. We got operating revenues of $227,048,000. These were $26 million below budget. We did see base revenues were under budget by $3 million, and then the remaining difference was a fuel that was under budget by about $28.9 million. We got other revenues were $25,659,000, $2.5 million over budget. This is primarily just interest over budget. And then line 3, gross revenues were $252,708,000. We then back out the fuel and Southwest Regional Water Authority contributions of $78,943,000 and arrive at adjusted gross revenues of $173,764,000. This is the basis for the city's 10% transfer calculation, so the city is entitled to $17,376,000. We then back out other requirements for O&M, non-operating, and debt service of $130,122,000 and arrive at a balance available for requirements, after requirements, of $43,642,000. We then back out the total cash and utility benefit to the city of Brownsville of $17,376,000 and arrive at a balance available for transfers out or BPUB uses of $26,265,000. That $26 million was used to fund approximately $18 million in CIP funding and other cash reserves, leaving a balance to replenish the improvement fund of $8,372,000. Debt service coverage ratio is at 2.52 times. Here we've got a budget to actual comparison of our personnel O&M expenses for the current and past 5 years. We did see personnel expenses came in over budget by about $1.45 million. The key drivers here were some aggressive hiring. Our HR did double their efforts to fill vacancies, so reducing the vacancy rate from 11.2% down to 6.2%. So this lowered the vacancy-related savings that were embedded in the budget. Internal promotions, so we did have some strong competitive promotion cycle with 75 employees advancing internally, averaging about 13.8% of pay increases. We also have some progression milestones. So we had increases in employees achieving certifications or major training milestones moving to a higher pay and title. We did have 55 of those employees in 2025. We also had, we implemented a few retention offers to retain some critical talent for project completion before retirement. And lastly, we did see overtime actuals exceed budget by about $560,000. So bottom line, the overrun reflects the strategic investment in workforce stability, career growth, and retention, aligning with long-term organizational goals. And this is the budget to actual comparison for the non-personal O&M expenses for the current and past 5 years. We did see the non-personal expenses are below budget by about $1.9 million due to some timing issues in the expense side. Expenses for September that are not already captured in this presentation will be accrued and posted to fiscal year 25 as part of the annual audit procedures. Here we've got the City of Brownsville transfer summary. We can see here that the total cash and utility benefit actuals came in about $200,000 under budget and about $100,000 under prior year. If we look at the far left, we see a significant drop in CUB usage. This is the CUB utility bills going down as a reflection of the lower fuel purchase and energy charge. And so it contributed to lower cost utility bill to the city. We went from an average of about 7.841 cents per kW this past year in fiscal year 24, compared to an average of 5.019 cents per kW in fiscal year 25. That's a 2.82 cents difference, about a 56% drop. And so that contributed to the additional $1.17 million in cash transfer to the city of Brownsville. Here we've got the fuel and purchase energy charge. PPB's average electric bill for the 1,000 kWh user was at $106.24 for the month of September, with the FPEC rate at 4.517 cents per kW. As stated before, we did generate an over-recovery of $23 million, and which should aid PUB in managing the market uncertainty going forward. Here we've got the capital improvement budget to actuals. I'm actually going to skip this presentation. We do have a more detailed presentation that's going to follow. Here we've got the key financial metrics. The debt service coverage ratio is at 2.52 at the end of this fiscal year, compared to the requirement of 1.25 times. Outstanding debt is at $236,385,000 with an annual debt service of $28,485,000. Debt to capitalization ratio for PUB is at 40%, which is in line with the utility medium. Days cash on hand for PUB was 471 days compared to the industry standard of 180 days. Bond ratings, we got Moody's at A2, Fitch A-, and S&P A-. Here in September 2025, both S&P Global Ratings and Moody's Ratings completed their review of BPUB's bond ratings in conjunction with BPUB's Series 2025 Utility System Revenue Bonds. S&P and Moody's both affirmed the ratings that are reported on here. Just recently, on October 29, 2025, Fitch Ratings completed their annual surveillance review of BPUB and upgraded BPUB's and SRWA's bond rating to an A from an A- with an outlook stable. So this press release was forwarded to the board in October the 30th. So the upgrade reflects strong financial performance of the combined utility system this past 2 years. And lastly, all reserves are fully funded. On this last slide, we report BPUB's customer receivable metrics. The utility, we do have about 97.3% of the total receivables that are within 30 days, which is great. Utility assistance funding year to date with $2,333,000. And our average customer receivable collection period for fiscal year 25 was at around 22 days. This concludes the financial performance report. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions? Congratulations on the bond rating.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 3C, Brownsville Public Utilities Board Quarterly Investment Report for the quarter ended September 30th, 2025, pursuant to Chapter 2256.023 of the Public Funds Investment Act.
Good evening, Vice Chair, members of the board. My name is Lupe Renam, the Treasury and Accounting Manager. I'll be going over the quarterly investment report for the quarter ended September 30th. This is the investment software certification. This report is prepared for the Brownsville PUB in accordance with Chapter 256 of the Public Investment Act. Section 256.023 of the PFI states that no less than a quarterly the investment officer shall prepare and submit the governing body of the entity a written report of the investment transactions of all funds covered in this period. This report, which covers the quarter ended September 2025, is signed by the investment officers and includes the disclosure required by the PFIA. The investment portfolio complied with the PFIA and the PUB approved investment policy and strategy throughout the quarter. All investments transactions made in the PUB portfolio during the quarter were made on behalf of Brownsville PUB and were in full compliance with PFIA and the Brownsville PUB approved investment policy. The first section that I'll be covering is the assets. You have 4 different assets under Category A. First, you have bank deposits. You have a book value of $24,757,000. Percentage of portfolio is 10.93%. Yield to maturity 3.30%. Second category under A, you have certificate of deposits, a book value of $8,638,000. percentage of portfolio 3.81%, and yield to maturity 4.34%. Next category, investments in investment pools. We have a book value of $155,526,000. Percentage portfolio 68.68%. Maturity yield to maturity 4.2%. And treasuries notes on there, we have a market value of $3,556,000. Percentage portfolio 16.58, with a yield of 3.99%. Next, you have the yield comparisons. We have 3-year comparisons, the BUB's yield comparisons, S&P Pool Index, and the 90-way T-bill. As of September 30th, PUB's yield was 4.07, S&P Pool Index 4.16, and the 91-day T-bill at 4.10. One of the slight factors that reduces that there was a slight decrease is in September, the Fed rate dropped the Fed interest rates a quarter basis points. Because we have a lot of money in the pools, it also drops our investment pools for that period of time. The other factor on here is for PUB, on the month of September, we're taking the month-end average yield. On the 91 T-bill, we're taking the quarter yield. So it's a slight difference in the rate there. On this slide right here, we have the detailed distributions on classes. Basically, it's a slide 2 in detail. Again, we have on Class A, you have bank deposits composed of insured and collateralized bank deposits, market value of $24,757,000, with yield between 1% and 3.87%. The next category, we have certificate deposits. We have a total of 37 CDs. Total market value, $8,638,000, with a yield between 4.15 and 4.50%. Next, we have investment pools, which includes term investments, market value $155,526,000, with a yield between 5.12% and 4.39%. And the last, you have treasury notes. You have 4 treasury notes out there, total of $37,546,000, yielding 3.7 and 4.8%. Total market values of $226,467,000. The rest of these schedules are just supplemental. There is one schedule I do want to go over, and it's this schedule right here. This is a distribution by fund. Due to a little slight oversight, I want to update this schedule. On the category that's indicated as none here, there was 2 funds that were not classified or lumped into the fund group. Those were the decommission reserve and the power supply stabilization reserve. Previously, those were under the improvement fund. They were segregated, separated out, and reported. They should have been reported under reserve fund. The only difference here is that $3.7 million actually should be added to the $48.8 million. That's the only difference here. You have any questions on the other slides?
Questions?
That concludes the presentation.
Have we transitioned to the new public depository?
No, we have not. They still not, their new online banking platform is not yet available. It won't be available for us to transfer over until February of 2026.
And
So we've been extending the contract with Wells Fargo
Okay, under the same existing terms?
up through November, through the end of this November. We've asked them to provide us, now that we've been notified that the new platform's not going to be available till February, we've asked Wells Fargo to provide us another estimate for 6 months and 12 months, just to be on the safe side. And I think they did say that they were not going to be able to maintain those same current terms. We did get confirmation from TRB, though, verbally, that they will cover, because of the delays, they will cover those depository or bank depository costs through transition time.
Really?
So,
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 3D, Presentation, discussion on year-to-date capital improvement plan activity as of September 30th, 2025.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Jorge Santillan, Finance Manager, and I will go over the year-to-date capital improvement plan activity as of September 30th, 2025, and then Mr. David Ramirez will go over the cash flow plan versus actuals through the end of the year. Beginning with on the left side and top section, total FY 2025 CIP budget, $76.1 million. Actuals through the end of the year, $52.9 million, or 69.6% of the budget. Committed, $23.2 million. These are the POs at the end of the year that will be rolled over into next fiscal year. Moving on to the middle section, the percentage of budget spent by project type. 89% of the electrical, $27.7 million budget was spent. For wastewater, 54% of the $24 million budget. For water, 74% of the $19.4 million budget was spent. And for general and administration, 21% of the $4.9 million budget spent. Moving on to the right side, year-to-date actuals and committed by category. Looking at the top three categories under construction, actuals shown in blue, $22.8 million. That's under construction, and then the committed, $18.3 million. Grant funded, and these are the AMI, the ARPA, and the Restore grants. Actuals, $10.2 million, committed, $5.1 million. Customer connections, $10.8 million actuals, and then committed, $2.2 million. And if there's no questions, I will turn it over to Mr. Ramirez.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. I'll go ahead and share some further insights on the organization's 2025 CIP delivery performance. The original CIP budget in fiscal year 2025 was $76.1 million. However, at the end of the fiscal year, CIP delivered was $52.9 million. That's a negative variance or gap of $23.2 million due to a number of project schedules shifting into the next fiscal year. It's worth noting that despite the $23 million gap, the final figure is an increase in performance from prior years where the CIP delivered fluctuated between $33 and $36 million. This graph shows the CIP budget versus CIP actual expenses for the past 6 years. You can see the gap or variance reducing over time, especially between 2024 and 2025. This slide shows the same analysis broken down by utility. Here you can see how all utilities were able to close the gap between their respective approved budgets and their actual expenditures. We also see that the electric utility was able to close the gap almost entirely in 2025. The water wastewater utility also reduced its budget gap, although less significantly. And the general utility is more variable because it is more affected by large dollar seasonal or special projects. Looking at the last graph on the bottom right, we have a summary of CIP performance by percentage completion. It shows percentage expenditure from approved CIP budgets. So for 2025, the electric utility spent 93% of its approved budget, quite an improvement from past years. The general utility followed right behind at 79%, and the water wastewater utility at 51%, which are all peak performances in the last 6 years. Feedback from the electric utility to help explain its improvement in performance is that having monthly meetings between executives and directors to review their division's KPIs and strategic goals progress has helped a lot. Also, in mid-2024, the electrical transmission and distribution division was further divided into 2 separate divisions, the electric operations division and the electrical engineering division and systems operations. Having one director for each of these business units allowed each of the directors to pay more attention to their respective departments and focus on improving performance. Additionally, since this restructuring took place, their engineering staff has increased from 14 engineers to 21. Any questions on these insights? Thank you.
Item number 3E, advanced metering infrastructure project update.
Good evening, Vice Chair, members of the board. My name is Jaime Aguilar. I'm the division manager here at Brownsville PUB, and I'll be giving an update on the Advanced Metering Infrastructure, or AMI project. I want to start off by just going over again the benefits of having an AMI system in place for both the customer and the utility. On the customer side, we anticipate an enhanced customer experience, meaning the customer will now be able to see their daily consumption. Also, we'll be able to notify them proactively in case there's any issues with their water electric. They'll be provided again with their online tools such as leak detection or any other alerts or notifications. On the utility side, enhanced outage detection, so we'll be able to know when they have an outage instead of waiting for a customer to contact us. We'll know. Improved safety, theft detection, and real-time analytics. Now going again high level on the AMI solution, we do have 4 different vendors on the project. We do have Landis & Gyr. They're essentially in charge of providing the electric meters, as well as the network. Our electric meters are using a Gridstream RF Mesh IP network, and Command Center being the head-end system. That's the software that they provide. On the Badger side, on the water side, it is Badger, the vendor. Again, their responsibility are the water meters and also the communication. The difference between our electric meters and our water meters is that electric communicates via RF mesh, and the Badger uses cellular endpoints. So effectively, every single meter out in the field that's an AMI meter, they have a cellular signal. Moving forward, SmartWorks, which is our meter data management system. Essentially, this is the one that gets the aggregate of both water and electric and puts them into one system, allowing us to do analytics and pass that information to our other systems. And finally, Allegiant. Allegiant is our installation partner. They're the ones responsible for installing the water and electric meters and the RF equipment out in the field. Now I want to guide your attention to the graph on the right side. Essentially, the way the entire solution works is obviously we do install the meters, both water and electric meters at the residents, at the locations. And then based on their communication, whether it be cellular or RF mesh, they transmit that data over to what we call the head-end system that picks up the raw data. And then once it gets that information, it passes it over to the meter data management system. And again, that's the one that collects from both the electric and the water. It collects it into one system. And then we anticipate having a customer engagement portal. This is the one where our customers will be able to log into and view their consumption and their daily activities, up to 15 minutes of interval data. So a quick update on the AMI update. We did start the project back in February of 2024. We do anticipate project completion in March of 2027, where system implementations have been taking place since then through October. As far as our financials, we were budgeted $29.7 million. We've spent, as of October 31st, $13.7, with a remaining of $15.9 million. We do have close to $1 million worth of invoices that are being processed right now. Overall, I think our project spend has been overall in good health. Regarding the milestones, like I mentioned, we do have the head-end systems online. Our meter data management system is also online. Our network has been deployed for the electric side. We did start installing meters all across our territory. We did start on the north side of Brownsville, working our way down south. We've been validating some of the alerts and notifications that the system has been providing. And one of the most notable milestones is we did go live back this past Friday, back on October 31st. Essentially what that means is everything we had in the test environment, we brought it into production. So now we are getting production-ready data into our current environment. I want to touch on some of the savings that we saw during the course of this project. For example, meter replacement. We did realize some savings in contracting some temp employees to assist us with doing meter lid replacements. As you recall, the water meters, they do need plastic lids or polymer lids versus steel lids. So there was an effort to replace all those lids prior to Allegiant coming on site and doing their installations. Additionally, we did see approximately about $1 million worth of savings on the Allegiant side because we did leverage our current warehouse. We do have a warehouse right here in the back that we allowed the Allegiant to stage there and receive inventory and work off of that warehouse. So we did realize some savings regarding that. In addition, during the course of Allegiant installing the meters across the field, our environmental department, there was a need for them to identify a lead pipes across our service territory to certain locations. So we leveraged Allegiant already visiting those locations by essentially asking them if they could also do the pipe identification. Are there any questions so far? This is essentially what our budget looks like between all the vendors. Like I mentioned, we started off with 29.7. We spent we spent 13.7, and we're left with 15.9. I do want to highlight Allegiant. Again, they're our installation partners. As you may see them across town, they do have a co-branded truck, so you do see their Allegiant logo as well as the BPUB logo on their vehicles, and there's also a snapshot of the warehouse that they're leveraging. This is a BPUB warehouse that they're being staged off of. I will note that Allegiant did hire locally, so they did hire 7 water technicians, 2 electrical, 1 operations, and as well as their project manager is also a local hire. This is a busy dashboard, but essentially we keep track in the AMI support department. We keep track of how we're installing the meters as far as how many were installed, how many were returned to utility, and how many were damaged. As you can see, there has been a total as of October 31st, a total of 37,953 meters. That essentially divides into 20,266 or 40% of electric installs, and about 17,687 or 31% of the water installs. So they're progressing quite good. They're on schedule to complete by when we anticipate project completion. Now moving on to the head-end system. So this is one of the head-end systems. So AMI support is monitoring the head-end system. This is the information that's bringing back from the actual meters. This particular one is for the water. I do want to concentrate on the Flow Health Card. Essentially, this gives us the alerts or notifications for each meter out in the field. Most notably, we can look at the leak detection. As you can see, it's about 1,063 of potential leaks out in the field. That further drills down into 27. On the right side, you see 27 critical, meaning these are the 27 locations that have a leak of 60 gallons or more per hour. And the opposite side of the spectrum, you do see about 832 customers that have a small leak, meaning anything less than 10 gallons. Now, mind you, the head-end system is able to get it up to the gallons, so if there might be potential customers that do have a leak of a gallon an hour over a course of 24-hour period. That all attributes to about 267,000 gallons leaked in the previous 24 hours. I do want to highlight one specific location. This specific location did have almost 700 gallons per hour over a 24-hour period. As you can see on the video on the right side, on the top piece of that video, you do see water gushing from a pipe. The way this one was notified is the head-end system did notify us of a potential leak. You can see it on the yellow, leak detected, and it tells us more or less when it started. In further looking into the head-end system and diving into the data itself, we did notice that the leak started roughly around, on a Monday, roughly around 10 p.m. Obviously, at 10 p.m., it didn't identify a leak because it has to be over a course of 24 hours. Therefore, on Tuesday, the head-end system reported that possible leak. We didn't go out to the field until Thursday around 11:53 a.m., try to make contact with the customer. Customer was not on site. However, we did shut off water to that customer to prevent further water being leaked. As you can see, circled on the top left, during the course of this 2.5 days, about 44,902 gallons were leaked. Go back. All right, so moving on from the water to the electric system. So this is the electric head-end system. So this is where all the data is coming in for the electric meters. Again, I'll concentrate on one particular alert. This is the temperature alert. Just like the water meter, we were able to go out and investigate, these particular alerts, trying to validate, the information. So we did send out a meter investigation for this particular location, which resulted in A-phase sites showing signs of damage. As you can see the arrow, it's an open terminal. Therefore, it was causing the meter temperature to spike, therefore creating an alert for us. Similarly, this meter was installed in August 18th of 2025. The alert was received from the head-end system October 4th. That's when it first was noticed, and we were able to do the meter investigation October 8th. The tech did make contact with the customer, notifying that there would have to be some repairs to that because the meter was reporting that hazardous alert. In addition to getting alerts, we also get pretty good data. We're getting, for example, this is a graph of one of the total system electric usage over the course of the week of October 23rd. It gives us the aggregate of all the meters, and it tells us how much usage in megawatts per hour have been used. And additionally, also the recent demand load profile. This goes to say that these are just what the head-end system is providing. However, this particular head-end system, our AMI solution, does integrate with our other systems that, that we have. For example, our engineering modeling software that the engineers use. Just earlier today, we were having a conversation with the vendors, and we essentially linked up the head-end system, the data that's coming in from the head-end system, to their modeling software. That way, they could do their analytics or whatnot. And are there any questions? Thank you.
Okay, next item, item 3F, Human Resources Year in Review.
Good evening, Vice Chairman and members of the board. The item before you is the fiscal year 2025 year-end review for the Human Resources Division. For the record, I'm Claudia Lujan, Director of Human Resources. The overview this evening will capture a snapshot of our workforce demographics, talk about some of our many accomplishments over the year. I'll also look at highlighting how we've had engagement and partnerships, internal and external, to the department. We'll look at our workforce development as well as what's in store for us moving forward, and of course, time for questions at the end. So by way of background, the Human Resources Division is composed of 3 departments. They're structured to align with the strategic plan for the organization. The Compensation and Benefits Department ensures that our market competitiveness and quality benefits reflect a culture that values our employees and enhances our retention strategies of the workforce. Our Talent Acquisition Department's mission is to build a resilient, future-ready workforce by attracting individuals who embody BPUB's commitment to service and innovation. And last but not least, our Training and Development Department sees that the workforce is prepared to adapt to the evolving industry changes while providing an exceptional customer service experience. With regard to some of our workforce dynamics, you'll see on the left side that our age distribution of our workforce, we have almost 3/4 of our workforce between the ages of 34 and 61, otherwise known as Millennials and Generation X. They account for about 80% of our leadership positions, followed by our Gen Z and our Gen Alpha workforce, ages between the workforce age of 18 and 34, and they account for about 24% of our workforce. Meanwhile, our baby boomers make up 7%, highlighting that there is a generational shift taking place right now in our workforce. Now, please draw your attention to the pie chart on the right with regard to tenure. 40% of our employees have been with us for less than 5 years, and 56 have less than 10 years of tenure with the organization. However, we also have a strong base of long-tenured staff of 44% of the workforce, which has 10 to 30-plus years of experience with BPUB. We have a strong mix of generations and tenure that provides stability and institutional knowledge and complements it with those who are championing new ideas and innovation. So no workforce demographic would be complete without looking at retirement. Our workforce demographics show that by the end of this year, about 20% of our workforce will be in a position to retire. That doesn't mean, however, that they have chosen to retire. It's just reflecting eligibility, and I really want to drive that point home before we get a little excited this evening. Of that 20%, about 44% represent our positions that are in middle management and senior management within that demographic. Looking ahead, however, we've taken it out to 2035, and you'll see that we are estimating a good almost 55% of our workforce will be retiring or eligible for retirement in the next 10 years. Now I'd like to highlight some of the accomplishments that the Human Resources Division has had over the last fiscal year, and also highlight some of the collaborations that have taken place. A concerted effort has gone into promoting holistic approach to health and overall well-being of our employees. The team coordinated a wellness event last year, which was very well attended by our employees. As indicated on the slide, several community partners worked with us on this event and provided healthcare screenings as well as delivering presentations on wellness topics for our workforce. As we are a self-funded benefit provider, these type of preventative initiatives are key to keeping our cost drivers down. Another significant accomplishment this year is the transformation of our performance appraisal system. We incorporated input from leadership and designed the evaluation system that clarifies the employees' core competencies, created SMART goals for employees, as well as accountability measures moving forward for the next reporting cycle. The system gives the employees a voice in the process, as well as increases the communication within their chain of command. To support the rollout of this initiative, Human Resources provided over 6 training sessions for the entire workforce, as well as providing specialized training for appraisers on effectively writing performance appraisals, as well as providing the feedback. And I really want to also acknowledge IT's efforts in working with us and collaborating with us on this initiative. It would not have been possible without their dedication to it. Now, moving to some other milestones within the benefits arena. We produced our first ever comprehensive benefits guide that you see on the left side of the screen. And we also implemented a new benefits enrollment system. This intuitive onboarding portal allows employees to have quick access to their benefits options, as well as gives them the ability to analyze their benefits information prior to their first day of hire. So this has really expedited and enhanced the onboarding process, made it more meaningful for the onboarding employees so they can discuss their insurance needs with their loved ones prior to even stepping foot in the organization. On the HR side, this has allowed us to have better tracking and reporting mechanisms with regards to our benefits. And now if you would please draw your attention to the center of the screen. You'll see that we expanded our benefits offerings with 3 new supplemental benefits. Our accidental care insurance to help cover unexpected injuries, injury-related costs, hospitalization insurance to assist with expenses from hospital stays, and dependent flexible spending account, which provides tax savings for children in dependent care. And lastly, we implemented 3 board-approved policies that speak to community engagement and work-life balance. They are the community partnership leave policy, flexible work arrangement policy, and cost of living adjustment policy. Last year, a lot of work went into market competitiveness. We implemented merit-based pay, and was just mentioned, the COLA adjustments went into effect. Close to 1/3 of the employees received a merit pay increase, while 100% received the cost of living adjustment. Additionally, the compensation team conducted targeted market studies, including a full review of Electrical Transmission and Distribution Technology Group, the Energy Control Group, Customer Service Frontline Management, Senior Management, Executive Management, as well as studies for the creation of new roles, such as AMI, Key Accounts, Engineering, Legal, etc. All of that said, about it was just over 18% of the workforce positions were evaluated. But what I really want to highlight on this is that when we are evaluating even one position, we have no fewer than 5 comparator agencies and sometimes up to 15 comparator agencies that we're pulling the data from. So it's a lot of work. We endeavor to have a goal of meeting 20% of the workforce every year going through the review. That way we will always stay current and stay strong with our compensation structure. We also created specializations, as Mr. Perez was acknowledging earlier, within the engineering field and increasing the titles in some areas from 4 titles to 16 titles so that there is career advancement for the workforce. Now, with regard to some of our workforce dynamics, I want to highlight the talent acquisition department. As you see there, we had over 3,000 employment applications, which we were able to successfully fill 153 positions, of which 76 of those positions were internal competitive promotions, meaning that they competed with external candidates and were selected for the promotion. Also, please note that 55 employees, as we were mentioning earlier, they progressed within their job families. So that really speaks to how we are creating systems here for employee retention and growth within the organization and our commitment to mobility. Regarding turnover, we experienced 50 separations, of which 7 were retirements, which is just over a 7% turnover rate. And in human resource professional circles, they often say that if your turnover rate is 10% or lower, that's a good turnover rate. That said, we remain committed to even reducing that. Now, looking at the vacancy rate, which Mr. Perez was talking about earlier, but this breaks it down on a monthly progression. You'll see that starting in October of last year through September of this year, we had a spike in November of 9 separations and then another spike in May. However, when you have this against the backdrop of our number of external hires in blue and internal hires, the promotions, we were never outpaced. Our attrition was always below the number of hires and internal movements that we had throughout the year. And perhaps most impressive is that we took our vacancy rate from October of 2024 of 11.2% and brought it down in 12 months to 6.2%. It's a lot of work on behalf of our talent acquisition team. So now, with regard to one of the big initiatives of the organization, which is the internship program. This year we had our largest program to date, and I really again want to acknowledge the collaboration that goes into making this program a success for the organization. We received help and assistance in placing these interns from directors and managers who provided and guided the interns through meaningful experiences that allowed them to exercise their talent, explore their potential, and immerse themselves in our organizational culture. And it was truly a collective effort of many. Over the last 10 years, we have welcomed 64 interns, and we are proud that we have hired at different times in their careers up to 19 interns in the organization. Also, I was inspired by these interns. I had an opportunity to visit with all 13, and I was impressed that 9 of the 13 referenced that when they look for employment, they are going to really take into consideration retirement options and their benefits. And when asked how did that come about, they referenced that they heard people in the workforce and the ones that they were working close to were talking about how that was a real big incentive and for them to plan for the future. So that really gives us hope and a great insight into the organization. But enough of me speaking. Let me see if I can get the intern to give some perspective.
Has allowed me to not only engage with different types of customers, but it's also helped me expand my business management skill set, which I feel I can pretty much use in any job going forward.
As a mechatronics engineering student at Texas A&M, I deal a lot with mechanical and electrical systems. Not necessarily the way BPUB does, but since my engineering degree is so broad, I can go into many different fields such as utilities. So by taking this internship, I felt that it would be one of the fields that I'd be very much interested in.
So now turning our attention to the Training and Development Department. They created an avatar spokesperson for BPUB, and his name is Todd, Training and Development. I say dude, but they didn't go that far. Staff has worked with environmental compliance to develop training, and Todd now delivers that training. That was the first one out of the chute on spill prevention, control, and countermeasures training, and now he will present the remainder of the slide.
This year, the HR division has taken big steps to enhance training across our organization. We introduced new training software designed to better engage employees and upgraded our learning management system for a smoother, more effective experience. Our team offered in-person and online training, helping employees grow their skills and knowledge. In addition, we offered 14 wellness presentations, reaching nearly 700 attendees. Together, these efforts show our commitment to creating meaningful learning and wellness opportunities for everyone.
So looking ahead, where do we go from here? We will be deploying a multi-pronged strategy with regard to workforce development. We recognize the need to enhance our training and development opportunities and support our education assistance program to include master degree levels in that endeavor. That will be coming forward to the board before the end of the year to include that in our new policy. We will be also supplementing our current staff of 3 allocated to HR in training through utilizing subject matter experts throughout the organization to help us develop and deploy training that's specific to content, procedures that we use in the organization. This will help us create continuity, consistency in the way we're working our everyday initiatives through, whether it be purchasing and procurement, contracting, HR, employee relations. So we have some clear roadmaps, and that'll help also develop our aspiring supervisors all the way up through our managers in different academies. And we are also looking at how we can bring in some accreditation programs, such as, for example, Lean Six Sigma, on-site for all of our managers who aspire to learn these topics. We had also talked about, in addition to Lean Six Sigma, the Certified Managers Program, project management and the like, and working with our local university on that. So, in closing, the emotional and professional connection that employees feel toward their work, their teams, and their organization drives performance, retention, and innovation. At its core, this is the definition of engagement, and it is not an HR exclusive function. It is a shared commitment. Whether we are working on recruitment strategies, designing training, working on job fairs, or designing benefits, we continually collaborate with our client departments and to get the job done. To that end, I would like to thank all of our internal partners who have helped us in creating the best organizational culture for our employees. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the HR team who has been dedicated, diligent, and has an unwavering work ethic, and many of them are here with me this evening. So thank you all. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions or comments.
Questions?
I got a comment.
Yes.
And I think I've mentioned this on recruiting material, but oh my goodness. And you hinted at it, you mentioned it, but it wasn't on the slides, the retirement plan. I mean, oh my goodness, that should be the first thing we talk about, you know, walking out the door, you know, that's a significant benefit. 200% up to, what, 8%?
Yes.
That's a great matching plan. So, and then the other thing is, and we don't have to do it now, but it would be interesting to get a little bit more color on the 3,500 people who applied.
Okay.
Versus the open jobs, you know, just what was it, people, you know, applying for an astrophysics degree, job, and they only had, you know, high school education.
Okay.
Like, where's the mismatch happening? Be interesting to know.
Perfect. We can provide that, for sure. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 3G, drought update.
Oh, you need to talk into your microphone. They're not hearing you.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Jaime Flores. I'm the Water Resources Administrator. I'll be providing you with a drought update. U.S. combined ownership at Amistad and Falcon reservoirs as of October 25th, 2025 stood at 26.8%. It has been holding steady for the last month or so. As you can see, October 4th, we had 26.9%. October 11th, we had 26.9%. October 18th, 27%. The National Weather Service November to January 2025 outlook for the Lower Rio Grande Valley and Deep South Texas region. A warmer than normal outlook is anticipated through the remainder of autumn 2025 and early winter 2026. A drier than normal pattern is expected through the November-January period. The odds for dryness expanding over Deep South Texas through January are increasing. The Falcon International Reservoir remained near historic lows at the end of October, and confidence remains high, 100% on total reservoir storage remaining just above record lows through January. This kind of concludes my presentation this time. The rest of the slides are in your information packet. Do you have any questions for me? Thank you very much.
Just want it to rain again.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, item number 4. Consideration and possible approval of City of Brownsville, Texas request for waiver of invoices dated prior to October 1st, 2025.
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the board. So in 2022, concerns were raised for the provision by BPUB of free services to the City of Brownsville because the practice is contrary to Section 33E of the bond ordinance number 2022-1700, restricting the provision of free services. BPUB's bond counsel opined that based upon the language of the ordinance duly adopted under state law, BPUB is required to charge for services provided to the city. In November of 2022, the BPUB board instructed staff to abide by the bond ordinance as advised. BPUB began submitting invoices to the city for any work requested, and as with other customers, required a contribution made to construction, kayak, in payment before commencing any work. This resulted in delayed start of certain work requested by the city because payment of the kayak was not being remitted to BPUB. In April 2024, because of this delays for non-payment, BPUB and the city, through their respective technical committee staff, crafted, reviewed, and instituted a new process to advance city projects while deferring payment processing in accordance with bond ordinance provisions. The jointly agreed process provided the city 3 options to remedy its outstanding invoices from BPUB. 1, the city might submit payment via check, ACH, to BPUB in quarterly batches. Or 2, the city could request a waiver from the full BPUB board at a scheduled meeting. Or finally, 3, BPUB might reduce the quarterly cash transfer to the city for the previous quarter's outstanding invoices. So notably, any waiver of city invoices ultimately diverts funds from BPUB's capital improvement fund and may cause BPUB to issue debt in lieu of cash funding these capital projects. Following the close of fiscal year 2024-2025, on October 15, 2025, the city manager submitted a request for waiver of invoices for services invoiced to the city by BPUB dated prior to October 1, 2025, in the aggregate total of $264,858.70. The city's request is being made pursuant to the public purpose doctrine, and the city claims that at the time these services were incurred, no budgetary authority existed for their payment, and the processing of these invoices retroactively would exceed the city's approved budget limits and raise compliance concerns under municipal finance regulations. The city acknowledges that the memorandum of understanding between the city and BPUB has been executed by both parties and has been made effective October 1, 2025 for the current fiscal year 2025-2026. As such, these invoices help inform budgeting under the MOU framework. I don't know if we have any city staff on, I don't believe so, but we're available to answer any questions you might have.
Questions? Is there a motion?
You know, I don't know if I have a question, but I do want to just offer an opinion. So this would be on top of the vehicles that we transferred to the city, I think this fiscal year as well. You know, putting it to about $500,000 of ratepayer funds that we have transferred or given to the city if we approve this. You know, I see things like the fiber optic cable repair. Does this have anything to do with lit communications, or is this a whole different fiber optic repair?
So that item was, I believe Municipal Court has its own dedicated fiber, and they reached out in an emergency to repair. And so at that time, we went out and repaired that item in order to provide services back. So our crews were pulled from other areas of the organization and redirected and redeployed. And so that's what that, it's approximately $6,000 or $7,000 worth of repairs that were done. Has nothing to do with the lit fiber.
Okay. I mean, I you know, personally think I'm going to vote against this, but I'll let you guys decide.
Is there a motion?
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, there's a first and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 5, consideration and possible resolution and action to authorize submittal of a letter of application for financial assistance to the Texas Water Development Board for the City of Brownsville's indirect portable reuse project.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Chair and members of the board. My name is Marie Leal, and I am the Director of Water, Wastewater Engineering and Capital Planning. BPUB staff requests authorization to submit an application to the Texas Water Development Board and supporting resolution seeking financial assistance not to exceed $12.7 million for the City of Brownsville Direct Potable Reuse Project, otherwise known as the Robindale Wastewater Treatment Plant Indirect Potable Reuse Project. This funding opportunity is made available through House Bill 500, which allocates grant resources from the State of Texas General Fund to the Texas Water Development Board for eligible water infrastructure. The proposed project will involve retrofitting the Robindale Wastewater Treatment Plant to create an indirect potable reuse system for BPUB, the first of its kind. This system will treat and redirect approximately 8 million gallons per day of effluent that are currently discharged into the Gulf of Mexico to supplement the drinking water supply at Water Treatment Plant number 2. Upon completion of the project, it is expected to increase the city's water supply by approximately 22% and also provide a reliable source independent of the Rio Grande River water. Is there any questions?
Is there any questions? Is there a motion?
I can read the recommended motion.
Sure.
BPB staff recommends board approval of a resolution requesting financial participation from the Texas Water Development Board, authorizing the filing of an application for financial participation authorizing the general manager and chief executive officer to accept the grant, endorse, commit matching funds, and execute with Texas Water Development Board for purposes of obtaining state financing for the City of Brownsville's direct potable reuse project.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, the two items on the agenda designated for a closed meeting will be considered. We have two items, and I'll go and read them. Item number one, meeting with board's legal counsel for advice about contemplated and pending court and administrative litigation on the matters in which the duty of the attorney under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct conflicts with Chapter 551, Section 551.071, including but not limited to any item moved to closed session and the following: A, reports of local and special counsel, including regarding potential or pending litigation involving BPUB. B, implementation of MOU with the city and related matters. And C, updates on contract negotiations relating to large-scale business development. Item number two, presentation, discussion, and possible recommendation of information upon pricing of purchased power generation and fuel and their impact on the fuel purchase, energy, and marketing charge, Section 551.086 and Section 551.072. Can I have a motion to go into closed session?
Motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to closed session. Thank you. ready? Yeah. Okay, it is 7:07, and we are returning to open session. Juan?
Yes, one action item following closed on 1A from closed. Is there a motion to authorize legal counsel to proceed as discussed in closed pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code regarding consultation with legal counsel on potential or pending litigation involving BPUB?
I make a motion as stated.
I'll second
Motion
it.
is second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
that's it. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Aye.